Okay. Hi Instagram again. Let's see if we can start our chat properly. I'm going to start the live video on Facebook. Okay, so let's see if we can get Gary to join this time. And Facebook is now live as well. So hello Facebook, hello Instagram. Right. Let's see. Okay, let's see if Gary will now try and hook up with us. I'm sure he will in a second. And then we can get on with this fantastic Friday night chat. Although we've got less time now because I've got a class, as I say, in a matter of moments. He's not there yet, is he? He's not there yet. I've got my terrible glasses on as well, so I can't see a thing here. Does anybody want to ask me anything? Anybody want to ask me anything about anything? Let me just tell you a few things that are happening in Monkey Towers, just in case we can't get Gary. So we have got our brand new subscription club launching very soon. Oh, I know, exciting times. So Take 3 has been happening for a year, and I put out a Monkey Minute saying that Take 3 was ending. And some people might be thinking, well, why is it ending? What's happened? And it's not, it's just the format. So the club is continuing, and a lot of people have said they're just going to continue, but it's just changing. Is that Gary Mills there? Hang on. Let me see if I can get him in. Gary Mills, yes, view request. Okay, go live. In format, basically. So what's happening is now that instead of having several tutors every month doing videos, we're going to have 1 month, one tutor. So one tutor a month who does about 2 hours of content. Hey, Gary! I'm just talking about the new VIP club. So let me just finish off and then we'll crack on.
Okay.
So the new VIP club, so it's basically one tutor 1 month and 2 hours of content at least, plus a live webinar every month with that tutor who's just done all the content, so you can ask your questions, and lots of pictures, and the idea is that it's going to be a really enriched learning experience. And unlike before where we sort of said, right, let's take a block and you all do it, this is not about blocks. This is about different techniques. And what we're going to do is give you a year's worth of totally different things to do. And Gary can talk about his little thing in a second. But we're going to do things like a month. You might have... Janet Clare is starting us off, and she's going to talk about the creative process, and she's going to be talking about sketchbooking and how to put it together and colour and all these sorts of things. And it's an absolute, I've seen her film, it's all edited, it's incredible what she has done for us. We're also going to do it for you in chapters. So you'll be able to follow the chapters through. You will have a month to watch that content, but you can download it immediately or at any point in the month if you would like to. So that's another thing. This is why it's changing, because we've listened to what you wanted. You wanted it downloadable. You wanted it in smaller chunks so that you could just pick the bits that you wanted and worked on those bits. And as I say, it's a different tutor every month. Gary, lovely Gary joining us now. Where were you? What was happening? I bet you were waving at the screen, weren't you?
I was here. I was here all along. I got my cup of tea. I was so relaxed, and then nothing happened. And then then you get that sort of cold sweat feeling, thinking I'm not going to be able to get through. So I think there was just some glitch in the connection. That's all there was.
And it was. That's why I just went out of it and came back again. So Gary, before we talk about anything else, I'm just going to shut this curtain actually, because I think it's a bit bright on the screen, and I think our poor Facebook people can barely see anything. Gary, just tell us about your Take 3 month, because you're doing 2 months for us, aren't you? But what's your first one?
Yes, right. So I've just, funny you, I've got everything else and not that. So I've just got my glasses so I can read what it's about.
Okay.
So the part one, which I'm going to do the August month, and I'm going to call that Coast and Creatures, because I live by the coast, but also I want it to be about animals as well. So it's about landscape and animals. And so I'm going to get you to use that as your inspiration. Yeah. So we're going to use that to kickstart off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage you to perhaps record your environment, but also I will send you some pictures that you can use as well, because we're not all fortunate to live in the country, though we can probably get on a train or a bus to do it. But, I can send you stuff that inspires me. You could even just use magazine images, or you could use stuff that you download on the internet. And then we're going to make look at making individual pieces. So I want you to do, I'm going to do a mixed media project with you. So I'll teach you a bit about mixed media. So we're going to look maybe something which has got some sort of scape, be that landscape, seascape, or something like that. I'll show you my version and you can follow along. But those who feel more confident, you can then adapt my idea and take it wherever you want. So it's going to be something like that, that you can then, we'll start small, and then I'll give you encouragement to work bigger. And then the idea is to get you started. And then it's almost like coming to college. I mean, I know I'm an ex-lecturer and I can't stop myself. It's like coming to college, and it's learning a project, and you can stop and start the video. Though you've got 2 hours of video, that's not a continuous lesson. That could be 4 half-hour lessons, or it could be an hour lesson with 2 half hours, something like that. Plus, we're going to have a live webinar, which means it's like a tutorial. So you will, I've sort of built that in sort of probably about week 2.5, 3. So you've got started, and then you've got time to then sit with everybody else that's taking part and me, and you get a chance to, perhaps we will get you to give questions beforehand. So I'll prepare you, and then we can discuss things that are going along. So though we might be answering your question, there's going to be someone else in the webinar that's going to help them as well. So there's a whole big package.
You know,
that's for 1 month.
As well, and you know, Gary, the more that I'm seeing of the videos that you guys are sending, and you know, there's been a lot of work put into it. You're all designing things exclusively for us for this club as well. So it's all brand new work. I'm looking at the video, I'm looking at the photographs, I'm looking at the detail of the PDFs that you're all writing to go along with it. And then I think about the webinar, and the private Facebook group as well, and things where people can join in, and people have really enjoyed that group in Take 3. And I just think for the price, it's amazing. Just to let people know, there is going to be a chance 1 month in June to buy the annual membership. The annual membership will be for the whole year. You will get 2 months for free, so it will be I think it's $149.99. But if you want to pay monthly, you can just join in for a month, and that would be $14.99 a month. So and that's it. And if you think about that, Gary, we're doing a webinar which will be an hour, maybe an hour and a bit. Well, a class is £30, so you're getting the webinar and you're getting all that stuff for less than the class. So I do think the value is fantastic. And so far, like I say, Janet is doing this whole, we haven't seen Janet in this, guys, and this is her thing about how you get your colors and textures and put your sketchbook together and get your ideas together and really get into that creative process. Then Judith the next month is doing a messenger bag made from denims, and that's fantastic because it's a big bag and it's a proper project, and I've seen her overhead filming. It's brilliant. We've got you doing what you've just talked about. We've got Sarah Payne is doing some wonderful free motion embroidery. We've got one of our American guest tutors as well. She's going to be potentially doing a baby quilt. Wow. And then you're going to be doing a Japanese inspired jacket for us later on. So a bit of dress as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring the fashion back in as well, because, you know, my training was begun in fashion. And so I thought it might be quite nice to bring a garment back in, because I have done a garment with CraftyMonkies already. And it'd be nice to do that as part of this new club, so that you can, I'll show you how to cut it out. And then also, but it's going to have the decoration. So I'd like to link it from the first project, but you don't have to do the first project with me to then do the garment later on. And I think that's going to be around about November. From what I'm looking here, that's going to be aired. Yeah. That's going to be the November slot. So yeah, it should all work really quite well. And like you say, I mean, £149 for basically 12 teaching sessions. And those sessions really, like you say, is 2 hours of film plus probably an hour or more, because these webinars go on and we get excited and we get chatting and ideas come up. So you're going to have at least another, you know, that's 12 lots of over 3 hours of work. And plus there's going to be downloads. So I'm going to, with my work, I'll be sending you PDFs to print off, more information. I also like to send you perhaps a reading list. So maybe books online or little web pages you can go to help you, inspire you, to inform you about your work as well. So it's a whole package within that new club. So I think it's going to be really exciting for everybody. It is really
exciting. And like I say, the more the content is flooding in now, it's just like, wow, this is just a really brilliant club, even though we say so ourselves. It is. It's just learning. It's just, and when we all got together in that original Zoom and talked about what we wanted to do for the next club, it was you, Gary, that used the word enhanced and enrichment. You said that's what it has to be. It's enhanced learning. It's enriched learning. It really is. It's deep diving into a subject. It's not just, you know, the sort of surface stuff. It really is teaching, like you say, it's like a college course for a year. except you can do it at your own pace. You can download all the content. You know, it really it's going to be fantastic, and I think the value is good. So I'm quite. I mean, a lot of people have said, you know, because they've obviously wanted to know about the end of Take 3. How does it happen, Rachel? Do we cancel our direct debits? I do all that for you, and then you just re-sign up. And I'll be doing that this month. You re-sign up in June and choose whether you're annual or monthly. But a lot of people have said already they're just going to carry on and do the annual. So you know, I think they've trusted us because they've seen the Take 3. They've been a part of that club and they've seen the quality, and they've just gone, yeah, I'm just going to carry on. So yeah, it's fascinating. Can't wait, Gary. Can't wait. Anyway, Gary, let's talk about you.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, it's all about you. I wish somebody would interview me one day. I might get someone to come on and interview me. I tell you what I'm going to do as well one day. I'm going to bring on a crafty monkey or two on Instagram. I'm going to have them, and then we can talk about their experience of CraftyMonkies. So
that's a good idea.
Good. So lovely, Gary. I know that some of your lady fans are in tonight. I tell you what, every time Gary does a class, it's always the same ladies. There are new ladies, but there's always a core of ladies, and they absolutely love you, Gary, for your passion and your enthusiasm and your commitments. And of course, we're doing that tonight with our icons in Stitch. So let's talk about you then, because you mentioned there, because we've been talking to our experts lately about their sort of backgrounds and where they came from. And Chris English last week was talking about his degree. I think he went to art school, or was it design, graphic design? I'd have to watch the thing. I've done so many interviews with people now, but we talk about where people have come from. So what was your road? Because you're quite a unique tutor for us, Gary, because you sort of do a bit of, you know, doing the mixed media, you do the dressmaking, you could do a bit of quilting. So what was your road into it? And don't start when you were a baby. Because Gary does this. To write anything, I get an essay. I'll just like go forward. I was in about 25. I went to art school. So I had a career sort of in catering, but that's another story, and that's about my family. But then I decided to escape, and I went to art school, and I just did general art and design. So I was taught, and I always like art, so I taught art and design at sort of like but not a degree level. It was at like a national diploma. It was sort of what they called actually, and it's still running. It's like called an access course. So it's for mature students, and if you're at 25, you're a mature student. And then from there, and tutor sort of like, you do lots of projects and try lots of things. You learn how to draw, you learn about colour, you even do like work with clay, all sorts. And it's great, because if you're a creative person, it's just great to get your hands involved in all of that. So then after that, I got like, you're sort of guided, and sort of like you sort of discover yourself. And I went to fashion college and it was a Plymouth University degree in fashion design, and it was a broad range of fashion design from sportswear through to sort of couture wear. But though it was a Plymouth University degree, I was based in Taunton, and I was taught by a fantastic tutor called Steve Langford, who was trained way back in the day by now I get this wrong, it was either Norman Hartnell or there was another chap, I've forgotten who it was. And I know if one of my friends is here tonight, they'll be going, it's so and so, but of that ilk. So I had a training from that, so that was good. And then I set up my own fashion business after I left, because being a mature student, I felt confident enough that I could do you know, that sort of, I could set my own business up. And I started off just in someone's attic to start with, and then that grew, and then I ended up with a studio and shop down in South Devon in a place called Topsham, which has apparently got more millionaires per square mile outside of London than anywhere else in the country. So I was in the right place. So they were the sort of clients that could afford my clothes, so one-off bespoke clothes. And I worked with myself on couture ladies wear, but also I had a Savile Row tailor that freelanced for me, and I would design the clothes and he would then come in and make them. So we did that. Yeah, so that was really cool. And then so I did that for probably about 10 years, I would say, probably about sort of 10-ish years working for myself as a fashion designer. And then
this Steve Langford, my original lecturer from university, came, and we kept in contact, and he came to see me, or actually he said come out for dinner in the evening. So he took me out for dinner, and I think it was a sort of a ploy to butter me up, because he said, Gary, I've got to tell you something. And he always think the worst. And it was to tell me that he had made the decision to retire, and that he would like me to take on the degree program for him. And that was before the day. I mean, it was probably very under the table. That was before you had to, like, you can't do that now. You have to offer it out to everybody. But he wanted me to do it. So I'm just adjust my my camera's going woo like that. So yeah, so I had to think about, did I want to do that, or did I want to carry on with the studio and the shop? And just the thought of, although it was very nice for him to ask me, and obviously a real privilege, and all those paid holidays and that lecturer's salary was such a great, draw. So what I decided was, well, yes. But if I want to ever go back to becoming, doing fashion design, I can always go back. Once you're given skills, you can always use them again. So I went, as first as head of fashion, then became head of fashion textiles, then became head of fashion textiles, interior design, surface design, and you name it. So anything to do with the body and the space, that's how I summed it up with a colleague of mine. And we would talk about the body and space. So you're either designing for the body, or you're designing for the space that you live in. So that might be the walls, the floor, but it could be the surface of the desk behind me, or it could be, my clothes. It was all about design then. So, and there's the best way of learning is to teach it. So if you don't know it, you learn it and then you teach it, and it just enforces that into you. So there were some areas within that were really new to me that perhaps I knew a little bit about, but I had to really do my research. And I had colleagues that I could work with, and they could help me and support me as well. But yeah, so my skill base just went from, just working on the body to like, whoa, and just loads of, and the thing is, I'm very passionate about everything that I get involved in, especially if it's creative. And so I just enjoyed all of it, and I did that for, gosh, many years. I give my age away if I say how long I did it for. In the end, I think I decided that there was that time where I wanted to move on to do something new, a new challenge, and I got to a point when a lot of institutions and degrees and universities, where when you become sort of like you're overseeing the whole programs, you're not actually physically working with the students or like imparting and getting their knowledge back to you. It's a two-way thing. And I was ending up going to meetings about a meeting. So they go, oh, Gary, we're going to have a meeting. Like, yeah, what's that about? Oh, well, about that meeting we're having later in the week, but we want to see if we practiced it before we have that meeting. Think, oh, no, my life's too short. Yeah. And so I just,
yeah,
I just thought, I want to go and do something else. So that's when I set up sort of Exmoor Inspired, which was about, I'd started living my life much more in the countryside, and I was enjoying the country life. And between me and my partner, we were going out, we had horses, well, his horses rather than my horses to start with, because he had the responsibility. But I just got back to riding horses. I got back to living in the countryside, to being by the coast. And I just really loved it. And I just found it really inspiring. And so when I did leave the college, it wasn't to leave education, it was to really go freelance and to really just go and just start teaching everybody, not just somebody that wants to do a degree program. Could be anyone. It could be, and I want to teach at all different levels. I want to teach, someone that perhaps really does aspire to really push themselves and wants to do the background work and the research. But I also want to teach someone that just wants to have a go and try, and I will support them with that as well. So it's very broad. And my classes, I mean, not just online, but my physical workshops, there'll be just a broad range of people, and everyone feels, hopefully, and I know they do, they feel supported, because I can pick someone, to be someone over there that perhaps needs a little bit more of my guidance, or someone over here just might need a little bit of guidance and they're off.
Yeah.
With someone there, they need a little bit more of my time. So I think that comes from that teacher training that you also get when you're a teacher in education. You get to, see that, which, I suppose that's another skill that is quite important when you're yeah, the teacher.
Yeah, I mean, and that comes across though in your classes, Gary, because you know we had one of our regular ladies, Julianne Fishwick, and you know she was saying, wasn't she? Because I want to talk to you about your sketchbook classes. She was saying to you, oh, but I don't understand about colour. And then the way you said to her, look, you know, about the colour wheel and blah 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 blah, and then she was instantly on board. And so so that's what really comes across from you, and that's why I love having you on the team, is because you know you are able to. I'm just looking at what's in my background here. I've got all sorts of detritus in the background. Never mind. You know, you are able to really get into the mindset of people because you've been a university lecturer, so you've had to work at different paces and different speeds and different levels. So, and that's what comes across in your classes, and that's why you are such a great teacher. You are very, very personable. Anybody who comes on a Gary Mills class, well, like I say, you've got your band of merry men now, merry ladies, because it doesn't matter what you do. It's so funny. The course goes up on the website within about 17 minutes. The 6 people have booked again. Oh, is that right? Bang, I'm having it. They've not even read what they're doing. They just want to do a Gary class.
That's so nice. That's lovely though, isn't it? That really is nice that, you know, that I've got those people that are supporting me within this teaching online. And sometimes, you know, hopefully we will, you know, if we're going to have, perhaps we might do a live event. And when we do a live event, these people will obviously be able to meet them, which I really look forward to. It'd be really great.
Well, everybody should watch out for March next year.
Exactly, yeah.
Event. Because I've just provisionally booked a date.
Have you good?
So if I give it out, then people will be saying, you said on Instagram it was that day. But
yeah.
It is, at the moment, I am in deep conversations with tutors and with a venue in Birmingham. And for day event, full day, lots of fun. So yes, people need to look out for that. I'm hoping to get together because I want to see everybody. Okay, so let's talk then, Gary. I do ask people about their inspirations and you know, where they, I mean, you've just mentioned there, it's interesting, you said about, obviously you've got the fashion and then you've come back and you've got all the seascapes and things like that, which you can see coming through all of your work. So I find this question quite interesting. If you have to design for yourself, so if you're just fiddling about and you're just designing, or you know, whatever you want to do your own project, do you find that easier than if you have to design for somebody else, if somebody else gives you a brief? So say for example, if I said to you, Gary, I want an evening dress for my day in Birmingham. I'm going to flounce about in a red carpet dress. I'm not really, I'll be there in June. But say to you, right, I want a red carpet dress. Would you find it easier if I just said to you, right, Gary, and you can do what you want? Or would you want a brief? Would you want me to say, I want it in red and I want this kind of shape and I want this kind of neckline?
Yeah, we'd have that conversation. So I wouldn't necessarily be so bold as to just design out of nowhere for you. We'd have that conversation. So the conversation would be, you know, what colours won't you wear? And that you really hate, and what parts of your body do you not like?
All of it.
You know, because on what bits shall we on what bits shall we, you know, what bits shall we show off?
Yeah.
And so there'll be all that conversation, which I think is really, really important if I'm going to design you a dress. And I mean, hopefully people feel quite relaxed when they're speaking to me. So I'll probably get some really good, honest answers. But also I would perhaps give you the idea that, you know, I think this colour could really work with you. Let me just give you some examples and try this colour with you. And a lot of ladies don't like the tops of their arms. You know, they just find that they're, you know, they want to cover them up. So we would look at options for things like that. Someone might say, well, you know, I haven't got much of a bust. So I would say, well, you know, I can't perform plastic surgery, but we can make something that perhaps pushes you a little bit up, so it gets you a bit more of a, you know, a bit more of a bust. But maybe that's not important. Maybe I think sometimes the most sexiest part of a dress is the back of the dress. And if you have like an open back of a dress, I think that can look absolutely amazing. And I always think, you know, and I did used to do a little bit of bridal. And I used to say, you know, we need to think about the back of the dress, because for the time when you enter that room, most people are going to be looking at your back
Yeah.
for quite a long period of time before you turn around.
Yeah.
And so that back has got to look absolutely stunning. So, yeah, so there's a lot to, and I enjoy that. I enjoy the conversation. I enjoy the getting the ideas. And, you know, and then I might just do a few sketches. So I might sketch something, just an idea, or there might be a few sketches, and then we would have another consultation, and then that would be
Gary, I've got a question about sketches, right? Maybe you can answer this question for me. So here's the thing. If I came to you and I said, right, do me a dress and do me a sketch, Gary, why is it? Because I bet you do this, because every fashion designer does this. I don't think it's just for the industry's top models. I think it's for everybody. Why would you sketch me, you know, 15 feet longer than I am, you know, with you know, do you know what I mean? A swooshy, you know, and a tiny head on a very long neck, and because that's not me. Why do designers always do that? Why are those sketches always like that?
It's much more flattering than on a little tiny little squat figure.
Is that what you're saying?
And
is
it's
that what you're saying I am? A tiny little
you can always wear heels. We'll just put you in heels, but you know it does, and it is part of the industry where you are learned to do so. And it's actually in real life, you're so many heads. Your head is so many heads down through the body in real life. You add on an extra head.
Yeah.
So, and I can't remember what the amount of heads to the figure is, but then you add on an extra one for a fashion figure. So you always have the fashion figure, which is really like long, thin and willowy, and it's always thin, it's all bits flowing around. In reality, to get it like that, it doesn't always happen, you know. So I'm not against actually more realistic fashion illustrations. I'm not against that. I think that's, you know, I think that's real. And I don't think that because if you say, for instance, I was working with someone that perhaps was, you know, your larger size lady who still wanted to look really, really great. And maybe she, you know, and if I then put this design on a really like tiny little thin stick figure, she's going to think, well, that's not me.
Yeah.
She needs to relate to that design. She needs to see, that's like me. I could be like this, because you give essence of what she looks like, but also you'd show her that perhaps if she only took that waistline up a couple of inches, so up to the empire, how much flattering that would be. Or if she was much more fuller on the hips, what about taking it into a proper waist and having that 50 style where you have the full skirt, but the nipped in waist? Wow, she could look so amazing. So that's the sort of things you need to think of. And yeah, you're right, Rachel. You know, fashion designers always do those willowy, wispy drawings on these really long, stylized figures. But at the end of the day, they're not always working with a client. They're working for the catwalk. And then, you know, your models are all thin, slim, thin, not eaten quite often, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Is there, we must talk about your sketchbook class as well, because we're going to run out of time.
Yeah.
But last question, for anybody who's watching, and we're all different shapes and sizes, is there a set of rules as to what people should wear in terms of, you know, if you're a pear shape, if you're an hourglass shape, you know, what's the best skirt, for example? What's the best pair of trousers? Because I'll tell you what, I find for me, trousers work really well. You know, the cigarette pant trousers. So it's got the waistband like that, you know, quite straight down. That 60s style trouser. That's my best shape. I've discovered that. Zara do a very good one.
So are you quite sort of narrow, straight down on the hip?
I'm
like
straight
that?
down. I'm quite athletic in terms of I'm straight down. I've never had the the outy innie, you know, the Marilyn Monroe.
So they would look lovely. If you're, say, for instance, you're a bit wider on the hip, and I would wear those sort of palazzo pants, but the palazzo pants that fit higher on the waist.
Yes.
So if you're wider on the hip, don't wear things on the hip, because it's just going to put a band around your hip like that. If you bring that waistband up and sit much higher waistband, but the long, nice wide palazzo pants, that's going to look fantastic. That's going to look really classy. So yeah. That's what I would do. And if you were perhaps let's say, so we've got someone that's a bit more sort of about, you know, pear shaped, slim, like yourself. Who else could be out? Maybe someone that's got shorter legs. Maybe they're not very long in the leg. a good idea is not to have trousers that are creased at as they hit the shoe, dragging on the floor. In fact, you know, take them, make them look either they just hit the shoe, or make sure that they could even be slightly shorter. So you could go for perhaps, you know, the ones that just finish off just below the knee, because that would make your legs look much longer as well. So lots of tricks, lots of, I suppose they're sort of, what they got, optical illusions.
Yes, yes.
That's what they are.
What about if you're an apple shape? So what about if you've got a bit of a tummy, you know, the weight is in the middle?
Right. Can't you put me through it? Right, let's see. Let me just adjust my camera. This bloody camera, I don't know. Right. So you've got a bit of a tummy. Yep. And so I would say what you need to do is wear something that's going to fit, that's going to hang over not tucked in. You don't want to you don't want anything tucked into your trousers if you've got a bit of a tummy. So you could layer it up. You could still wear like a little body with the trousers, but then you could wear something long and loose that went over that where it finishes and just loosely flowed open. You could still have it open at the front. You could still come away at the front there, but not anymore.
Yeah. What is going on with your camera, Gary?
I know. Hang on. I'm going to adjust this thing. This is like, what are we doing? Right, get up there.
Right, well, let's move up. We haven't got long. We've only literally, because we've got to get into class in 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So, Gary, can I just say
yes.
we launched your sketchbook class. We've got 3 classes. They're on Wednesday nights. They are an hour and a half long. They start at 7 p.m. BST. The first one is May.
The first one is next Wednesday.
Yes.
Where are we? I've got it on the floor here. So next Wednesday. So we're doing colour and tone.
Yeah.
Colour and tone is next Wednesday evening.
Yes.
And that, I think it's because I think you can go on the website and just read the background to why I want to do this sketchbook workshop. It's only 90 minutes. That's an hour and a half for £15, and it's just going to get you started. I hate an empty sketchbook. I hate when I brought this along, you know, when I've got an empty sketchbook full of empty pages, I just go, because you always think that first page has got to be so beautiful and it's got to have such wonderful painting in it and it's just got to look. No, you're better off. What I do is I just grab loads of bits of paper. They could be torn up scraps of paper, the inside of envelopes, anything like that. And then I just make marks on them. I then go and then later, and I'll show you in the class, that I then almost like what's called curating it. I cut them down and then I stick them like scrapbooking in my sketchbook. So my sketchbook is more like a scrapbook rather than, they turn out to be beautiful pages, but I can have time to sort of readjust them. So we're going to do lots of, the first one, colour and tone, I think, for all of us that do textiles is really important, because I think if we don't get our colours right with our fabrics or our clothes or anything like that, then, you know, we're on a road to disaster. It's like, oh, it doesn't work. You know, you've spent all that time stitching it and then we just leave it in a cupboard. If we can get the colours right to start with, that's ideal. So what I want to do, we're going to do some really simple little playful exercises. And in fact, my inspiration for the whole of these sketchbooking chapters was when we did our motivation, our mindful motivation, when we were just doing little tiny drawings, or we were putting little mood boards together and photographing them and doing that. So if you enjoy doing that, you're going to enjoy doing this, because no one's going to mark you. It's not like you're at an art school or an art lesson where you've got the teacher looking over your shoulder saying, that's right, that's wrong, rub that out. In fact, you're not going to have a rubber inside. You're just going to doodle. So I think I've been doing hashtag, you know, monkey doodles, because it is about doodling. So it's partly learning, it's partly just relaxing and being mindful. And I'm just going to show you a few little exercises that you're going to take it with you. You're going to be able to, like, oh, the next day, I think I'll go back and do what Gary was showing me, or have a little play with that. I'll see what that colour does with that colour. Yes. I've given you a download, so you can download a colour wheel. So I think it's all a good idea. I've got one on my lap here. So it shows you all the colours and how different colours work with different ones. And I'll explain that. And then you can play with that. We're going to then do, I think we're going to work with colour but we're going to just do, this is a whole page, and you'll see this if you log in, have a look at the website, all the info on this project. How we're going to just look at tone. So it might be, say for instance, the blue up here. Well, there's dark blue, there's light blue, there's a mid blue, or whatever. So looking at how tones work. But then also I want you to look at contrast. So why does this lime contrast well with this like pinky red color? Why does the orange pop on the blue? What else have we got? And the purple pops on the yellow. Why does that happen? So it's just a few little things that sort of thing that we're going to try out. Now, you don't need any really expensive equipment or anything. In fact, I haven't got it in here, but just a little child's paint palette with just a variation of colours. I'll show you how to mix colours from red, blue and yellow. And maybe you've got a black and white in there, but we can mix colours from there. If you've got some other colours in there, wonderful. We can use those also. So just a little brush. If you've got crayons, if you've got pastels, anything like that, bring them along. We're even going to look, because I want to talk about sort of like monochrome. So that's, I think it's about colour, but actually black's a colour, black and white's a colour. So we're going to talk about monochrome, going to make little doodly patterns, just have a little play. And then we're going to finish the session with making, if I can find them. Oh, they're in front of me. And you've probably seen, there's little videos with me and Kerry have been putting out about this. So these are called little snippet reels. So they're snippets of paper, but they lend themselves amazingly to fabric. So though I've made these little snippet reels in paper, which is literally, we're going to just piece them all up, put them all together and just make a little reel of lots of colours. And then this can sit on your desk and then you can see from all the little exercises, oh, that colour works really well with that colour. So when I'm planning my quilt, when I'm planning my applique or I'm planning that garment I'm making, do you know, I think I might go back to my snippet reel and just remember what works well. You can also hold it up to your face and say, whoa, that colour looks really nice with me. So, everything's possible. So, and the snippet reel is just made on a little old cotton reel, and we're going to make that in the session as well. So we've got lots to do in an hour and a half. You're going to, I'm going to put you through your paces, and there's a whole list of bits and pieces you can collect around the house, ready to come on one of my sketchbook chapters. Now, you don't have to sign up for all the chapters, though there is a discount if you do. We've just started off with 3 chapters, but there are going to be more chapters. I'm going to do some more. But you can just, if you fancy, I just want to do colour, come along and do colour. You might miss colour and you hear that it's really good. Well, come along and do the doodles. Come along and do collage. Come along on the next one and do collage. If you missed that one, come along at the end, and we've got, what's the last one? Some mini mark making. Now, I haven't called it drawing, I've called it mark making, and that's what you'll be doing. You won't necessarily be drawing a Picasso or a still life.
Yeah, I think that's something that we've got to get across, and we really have to go.
Yeah.
That's something we've got to get across. This is not, we do want to bring calligraphy to Crafty Monkeys, and we want to bring perhaps some watercolouring down the road, and definitely some drawing and things like that. But this is we're sort of bridging into it a bit, really. We thought we'd just put it out there and give it a go and see if people wanted it. I have to say, Gary, it is very busy, and a handful of people have chosen odd Wednesdays, but 90% of the people have booked all 3 sessions, and it is the value. There is a special discount. It's called the triple whammy. If you go to our website, CraftyMonkies.com, go to it's home and workshops. Click on workshops, you will see sewing and quilting, and then you will see the sketchbooking. Go into sketchbooking, you will see Gary's full details, 3 videos on every single week, full requirements, full information. You will see the 1 ticket to buy all 3 with the discount, or you will see the price per class, which is £15 a class. And it's 15, 30, it's £40 if you buy the 3. £40 for 3 different sessions across a 3-month period. So, and I think it is, as you said, it's going to be mindful, it's going to be restful, it's going to be a really enjoyable experience, very chatty, very friendly. It is not for people who want to learn to draw or sketch or do a face or people who can't, like, you know, Julianne says, oh, I was going to come, Gary, but I can't draw. This is not about people. And as you saw with the Monkey Motivation, we put out a thing one day saying, you know, pick up an object, sketch it. Don't look at your drawing, just look at the object. And a lot of people joined in, but there were some people who said, I gave this one a miss because I can't draw. No, don't ever say that about yourself, that you can't draw, because I think everybody can. Who knows what something is supposed to look like? Picasso's faces never look like faces, but he's an amazing artist. So, you know, I mean, I know it was on purpose. I know he could draw a face. I've seen his photographic faces. He's amazing. But, you know, just you just have to experience it. So I do hope people come along, more people who want to give it a try and a frightened. Don't be frightened, just come along. But it is busy, and that's wonderful. So thank you to everybody who has booked, because it's a new thing for us. It's been embraced, and that means it will continue in the autumn with 3 more classes from Gary, which is fantastic. We've got to go, Gary. It's 10 to. Let's just do a quick hello. Can you do any comments on Instagram? And I'll have a look at the old Facebook and see what people are saying. Greetings Facebook, by the way. Ruth is Serena. Helen is watching. Ruth is saying, how has your week been? Yes, Gary's arrived finally. Mandy is watching as well. Liz. Heather says, oh, looking forward to these. I think she was talking about the sketchbooking. Dressmaking would be great, Heather says as well. Bridget, Lisa. Ruth's telling me it's 1:45. Ruth's also saying Gary is very, very patient. He certainly is. Kaftan for me. Yes. Maz, Anne-Marie, Julie, Jane is watching as well. So welcome to you all. Any comments on Instagram? Any questions or anything, Gary?
No, well, I'm just looking through it. I haven't got, it's not a really good, I can't really see all the comments because it's sort of like the way it comes up, it sort of fades now. I don't know what Instagram are doing to the comments. It's just, it's not as good as it used to be. But I love this person, the Crafty Camper Van. Oh my God, I love a Crafty Camper Van. It's just be like yes. The dream come true. And the Crafty Camper Van says thank you. So she said thank you. What else we got? There was something, while I was talking to you, someone was mentioning about Gary. Oh, what's this? My biggest fear, can't ever put colours together. Good. So that's Abby. Oh, Abby's Den. If anyone, that's a big shout out. Go to Abby's Den, and she just does the amazing, like, she works her, puts the sewing machines together. She shows you how to use things. She's all online. I met Abby probably about just over a year ago now in Manchester at one of the craft shows, and she was the first one to do an interview with me. So hello, Abby, nice to see you.
Well, Abby, come to the class, because then you'll learn how to put colours together.
Exactly. Exactly. I'll just see if there's any. No, what I was saying was, while I was talking to you, this message come up to say something. Wow, haven't you got lovely arms? And you must do a lot of press ups and bicep curls.
Is that me?
I just go out.
I don't. I went to the gym today. I've not been for months. Let me see if I can see anything.
Can you see anything on yours?
No, Abs was saying, thank you, you're amazing. Let me just have a look. Hang on, because I'm whizzing through them here. Let's just see. Oh, I keep bringing up this screen. Stop it. Stop it. You can't see what I'm doing, but people on Facebook can see me scrolling and all of it. No, everybody's just watching, which is lovely. Oh, the Crafty Campaign, yes, very interesting. Fascinated by your career in fashion. Yes, you're right. Amazing arms. I haven't done that many. I think I haven't got much weight on my arms. It's on my stomach. Colour is so confusing. Yes, as you say. Yeah, you can't wait. We will have it recorded. Yes. Hang on, I'll say that in a second. My daughter has the longest legs and short body. Yes, I'm the same. That's me. I've got a short body and long legs. My granddad used to say, your legs go on forever. Just to say, yes, all the art classes will be recorded. Every single one of Gary's classes will be recorded. In fact, I have to say that at the moment, we record all of our classes apart from if Janet is doing free motion, Lucy Engels at the moment now not recorded, and Nicholas Ball not recorded. But everybody else generally records their classes. It's to do with licensing agreements and book agreements and things like that. Yes. Lovely. All right, so we've got to go. We've got to go, babes. We've got 7 minutes until we do our class. So listen, thank you very much to our lovely Gary tonight. I hope you enjoyed that Live at 5 chat. Next week, I think I have got Nicholas Ball. I think I have. I think I've got Nicholas Ball next Friday. So I hope you join us then. Thank you very much for lovely Facebookers watching us as well. I know it's never a great view on Facebook, but I can't do anything. I can't do a stream on one phone. I can just, the best I can do is get that there. But I'm going to say goodbye to Facebook. So goodbye, Facebook. I'll see you, Ruthie. I think you're on this class, Ruthie. So goodbye to Facebook. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye. Off they go. And now we shall say goodbye to Instagram. Thank you to Instagram people watching, and thank you to Gary. And I hope to see you all in the sketchbooking classes. Come on, be brave. Go for it. Go to the website, book a ticket. And if not, on another sewing class very, very soon. Okay. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care. Bye.